I'm going to preview the 3 seed Texas Tech versus 10 seed Arkansas men's basketball game, which will be played on March 27th at 9:09 p.m. Central Time on TBS/TruTV. And as of right now, Texas Tech's favored by 5.5, but we'll have to wait and see. And this is an old Southwest Conference rivalry game, and I want to go over both of these teams real fast in terms of like what players to keep an eye on and everything. And I'm not going to go over every single guy either. I'm not. So y'all could just check the number on the jersey number and the height and weight of these players. Just to make things faster. So JT Toppin is the first player to keep an eye on for Texas Tech. 18.1 points per game, 9.3 rebounds per game, 1.5 turns per game, 0.8 steals per game, 1.4 blocks per game, 2.3 fouls per game, 31.4% on threes on 51 attempts, 70.2% on free throws, 131 attempts. And it's Darion Williams, number 5, 6'6", 225-pound forward. That's a junior. Actually, I didn't mean to mention that. 14.7 points per game, 5.4 rebounds per game, 3.7 assists per game, 1.9 turnovers per game, 1.2 steals per game, 2.1 fouls per game, 35% on threes, 123 attempts, 83.8% on free throws on 105 attempts. And there's Chance McMillian, which he has not played in a bit, so who knows if he's going to play. 14.2 points per game, 4.1 rebounds per game, 0.7 steals per game, 1 turnover per game, 1.4 fouls per game, 43.4% on threes on 59 attempts, 88.2% on free throws on 76 attempts. And there's Christian Anderson, 10.5 points per game, 2.9 rebounds per game, 2.2 assists per game, 1.1 turnovers per game, 1.2 steals per game, 2.2 fouls per game, 38.6% on free throws on 76 attempts, 78.4% on free throws on 74 attempts. So I apologize for looking down because I can't memorize all this stuff. And there's Elijah Hawkins, 9.4 points per game, 3.5 rebounds per game, 6.5 assists per game, 1.9 turnovers per game, 1.6 steals per game, 2.6 fouls per game, 32.3% on free throws. On threes on 161 attempts, 84.9% on free throws on 93 attempts. And there's Kevin Overton, 7.8 points per game, 3.6 rebounds per game. 0.9 turns per game, 2 fouls per game, 32.7% on threes, 113 attempts, 77.6% on free throws on 67 attempts. And there's Kern Walton, and I'm going to go over one more guy after this. And he 6.2 points per game, 1.3 fouls per game, 39.9% on threes on 53 attempts, 76.2% on free throws on 21 attempts. And the last guy I'm going to really mention is Federico. 5.1 points per game, 4.4 rebounds per game, 0.8 blocks per game, 0.7 turnovers per game, 2.1 fouls per game, 49.2% on free throws on 59 attempts. So that's all the Texas Tech players are going to keep an eye on. Now, Arkansas, I know they do have injury concern with Adu Thero, which I'm going to go over him anyway. And he's 15.6 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, 2 turnovers per game, 2 assists per game, 1.7 turnovers per game. 1.7 turns per game, 1.7 steals per game, 0.8 blocks per game, 2.7 fouls per game, 26.2% on threes on 42 attempts, 68.8% on free throws on 173 attempts. And there's Boogie Fland, which thank goodness they have him back. I tell you that, 14.2 points per game, 3.4 rebounds per game, 5.4 assists per game. And once I go over all the players for Arkansas, I'm going to go over both of these teams' records, both in conference and regular season. So apologize if I didn't mention that before. 14.2 points per game, 3.4 rebounds per game, 5.4 assists per game, 1.4 turns per game, 1.6 steals per game, 1.9 fouls per game, 34.3% on threes on 105 attempts, 83.3% on free throws on 66 attempts. And there's Jarnell Davis, which you recognize him from FAU last year. 11.4 points per game, 3.3 rebounds per game, 1.5 turnovers per game, 1.5 steals per game, 2.2 fouls per game, 32.7% on threes on 65 attempts, 84.9% on free throws on 86 attempts. And is DJ Wagner, 11.1 points per game, 2.7 rebounds per game, 3.6 assists per game, 2.3 turnovers per game, 1 steal per game, 1.4 fouls per game, 30.5% on threes on 131 attempts, 81.3% on free throws on 80 attempts. And as Zirmir Ivicic, apologize if I butchered that, 8.8 points per game, 4.4 rebounds per game, 1.9 blocks per game, 0.6 steals per game, 0.4 fouls per game, turnovers per game, 2 fouls per game, 37.9% on free throws, on 37.9% on threes on 24 attempts, 72.4% on free throws on 58 attempts. And this Carter Knox, 8 points per game, 3.2 rebounds per game, 0.6 steals per game, 1.1 turns per game, 1.9 fouls per game, 32.3% on threes on 96 attempts, 80.2% on free throws on 86 attempts. And there's Jonas Adu, 6.9 points per game, 4.9 rebounds per game, 1.1 blocks per game, 1.7 steals per game, 1.9 fouls per game, 0.8 turns per game, 0 for 7 on threes, 62.7% on free throws on 75 attempts. There's Trayvon Brazil, which I'm going to go over one more guy after this. 6.7 points per game, 5.4 rebounds per game, 1.1 blocks per game, 1.8 steals per game, 1.1 turns per game, 2.2 fouls per game, 36.1% on threes on 61 attempts, 52% on free throws on 50 attempts. So the last player I'm going to really mention is Billy Richmond III. 5.8 points per game, 3 rebounds per game, 1.3 turnovers per game, 2.1 fouls per game, 12.5% on threes on 16 attempts, 73.2% on free throws on 56 attempts. So both of these teams' records are Arkansas 22-13 on the year, 8-10 in the SEC. Arkansas Texas Tech 27-80 on the year, 15-5 in the Big 12. So Big 12 versus SEC battle. You got to do this for your seniors across the board. You got to make adjustments on the fly. And I don't care about the officiating. You got to make plays to win. You got to make the other team uncomfortable on offense. Create some havoc. Of course, limit your points on turns, points in the paint, fast break points as well, and second chance points in. You got to get some defensive rebounds and make adjustments on the fly, not just from first half, second half, but during those halves. Both offensively and defensively, you got to do this for your seniors. Do it for your potential one and dones. I mean, it's just telling the truth, or even go straight to the NBA as a sophomore or junior, but you get the whole point. Play like this game's your last. You don't want to let the other team live at the free throw line either. You got to limit your foul trouble while getting them in foul trouble. You got to have good shot selection on offense. You got to take care of the ball, get some points on turns, points in paint, fast break points as well, and second chance points too. So, we're going to have to wait and see what happens here in this type of game. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys later on the road to 800 subscribers. Of course, ultimate goal is 1,000 more. So my mind this course, like video, comment video really helps YouTube algorithms. More people see us. Sharing the video does help as well, so more people could watch. And if you're watching and not subscribe, hit subscribe button to read the notification bell as well.